Alex Eala has just arrived at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden as the 31st seed, and the atmosphere in Coachella Valley has been forever transformed. This is far more than a standard feel-good narrative about a rising talent. This is the story of a 20-year-old from the Philippines who has turned a premier global tournament into her own home turf. Neither the staggering statistics, the high-profile corporate sponsors, nor the experienced players on the tour can fully explain how this meteoric rise occurred with such blistering speed. Only 12 months ago, Alex Eala was a wildcard ranked 141st in the world, entering the 2025 Miami Open without a single elite victory to her credit. By February 23, 2026, the cutoff for Indian Wells seeding, she had surged to world number 31. That is not just a steady climb or a predictable path. This is a total disruption of the sport, and the BNP Paribas Open has adjusted its expectations accordingly. In a 96-player draw where only the top 32 receive a first-round bye, Eala has made history as the very first Filipino player to enter this prestigious tournament as a seeded competitor. This status guarantees her essential rest, a much clearer trajectory through the bracket, and an escape from the exhausting early rounds before the true tests begin. The Indian Wells environment is notoriously unforgiving to those who are unprepared, especially with the unique ball flight caused by the high altitude of Riverside County. From the dramatic temperature shifts across the Coachella Valley to the abrasive and slow hard courts, these specific conditions have defeated unseeded players for decades. This time around, Eala is not entering as a qualifier fighting for relevance, nor is she a wild card relying on the luck of the draw. She enters the arena with the prestige of a bye, and the Coachella Valley has been eagerly awaiting her arrival. However, this is where the narrative takes a profound turn, because the shockwaves currently felt throughout Southern California are not originating from the sports analysts. Sam Querrey, John Isner, and Steve Johnson, three legends who have retired from the professional tour, sat down for a session on the Nothing Major podcast and made a claim that stopped the entire tennis community in its tracks. They identified Alexandra Eala as the single biggest draw in women's tennis today. They did not say she was merely one of the biggest. They said she was the biggest, and Steve Johnson did not hesitate to emphasize that point. He noted that venues in Australia and Dubai reached standing room-only capacity every single time she stepped out to compete. Now, that incredible momentum is shifting toward California, where Riverside County serves as home to one of the most significant concentrations of the Filipino diaspora in the United States. There are widespread reports that ticket prices surrounding the Indian Wells Tennis Garden are currently skyrocketing in response to her presence. The massive mobilization of fans ahead of her opening matches has been characterized by many as a complete cultural takeover. These are not spectators who simply drove 2 hours east from Los Angeles to watch a match. This is a dedicated community that has made the journey specifically to be part of a historic milestone in sports history. They are fully aware of the significance of what they came to witness. That crowd is much more than just a source of noise. It has become a formidable psychological weapon. Earlier in 2026, during a high-stakes match in Abu Dhabi against Ali Alexandra, Eala found herself facing a daunting 0-4 deficit in the final set. By any conventional metric, that match should have been over, as the momentum had completely shifted away from her. What happened next was not the result of a tactical shift or a clever coaching adjustment during the changeover. Eala herself gave full credit to the Filipino fans in the arena for literally pulling her back into the contest. She secured the set, won the match, and moved forward in the tournament. That single moment reframes the entire narrative that is currently building within the Coachella Valley. When Eala first arrived at the Nike World Headquarters in Oregon, she was guided through what the industry recognizes as the legendary tunnel. This iconic hallway is reserved for portraits of Nike's most celebrated global ambassadors, and it now features the standout highlights of Eala's career. One specific portrait captures the moment perfectly with a caption that reads, "History in full bloom." The brand also unveiled a Sajida-themed apparel line and a custom shoe collection designed exclusively to honor her Filipino heritage. To launch a signature Sajita collection and custom footwear for a player currently ranked 31st in the world is a move of massive proportions. This level of elite commercial support is typically reserved for those in the top 10 or athletes who have spent years dominating with Grand Slam titles. Although Eala has not yet achieved those specific milestones, Nike is already committing to her as if she were a global icon. Industry insiders have described the commercial momentum surrounding her brand as both massive and absolutely electric. Her financial trajectory confirms this, with Eala having already earned approximately $292,000 in prize money by late February. This impressive figure was accumulated within only the first 2 months of the 2026 season. For context, the winner of Indian Wells receives $1,150,000, roughly 66,400,000 Philippine pesos, and 1,000 ranking points. With the current marketing infrastructure supporting her, her earnings outside of the court are expected to dwarf her tournament prize money very soon. To understand the intensity of the reaction in California, one must look back to her breakthrough in Miami during 2025. Competing as a wildcard ranked 140th, she achieved a feat never before seen at a single Women's Tennis Association tournament. She took down 3 former Grand Slam champions in straight sets, including Jelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and world number 2 Iga Swiatek. After losing 6-2, 7-5, Swiatek provided a very telling response in her post-match press conference. The world number 2 did not blame external factors or look for excuses regarding the surprising loss. Swiatek noted that Eala played with total commitment and used her opportunities with incredible effectiveness. She specifically described Eala's left-handed style as uncomfortable and mentioned a rhythm that was remarkably difficult to break. This description from a multi-time Grand Slam champion is not just a compliment. It is a significant technical concession. When Eala walked onto the courts in California as a seeded player in 2026, the fans remembered exactly what that left-handed style could do. This elite game was developed under the guidance of coach Joan Bosch at the prestigious Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain. Her current performance data shows a first-serve percentage consistently reaching near 70%. Along with minimal double faults, she possesses a tactical return game that has far surpassed the expectations of the junior circuit. That victory against Swiatek was not a matter of luck. It was the result of a deliberate system arriving on the American stage fully refined. However, the situation became more complex in early February of 2026, just weeks before the event at Indian Wells. Eala took the unusual step of issuing a direct public warning to her followers concerning disinformation and fake news. The fabricated stories included a fake $1 million sponsorship from Elon Musk and a manufactured report of a secret engagement in Europe. Other viral rumors included invented locker room conflicts and false reports of institutional bans from the sport. Every single one of these stories was completely unverified, yet they continued to go viral across social media. The sheer volume of disinformation surrounding her is, in itself, a definitive metric of her astronomical star power. Fabricated stories do not chase athletes that the algorithm ignores. They target individuals with massive engagement footprints because those names generate clicks, regardless of the truth. The fabricated narrative involving Elon Musk reveals more about Eala's cultural standing in early 2026 than any ranking table ever could. She was essentially fighting a high-stakes information war before she had even struck a single ball at the BNP Paribas Open. However, the moment that the California tennis community has not yet fully processed occurred in Dubai. After Coco Gauff, a former doubles partner and the world number 4, defeated Eala in the quarterfinals, something unprecedented happened. Gauff was seen afterward sharing jokes about the sheer intensity of the Alex Eala wave and the overwhelming passion of her fan base. Then, in a stunning departure from protocol, Gauff apologized not to her own fans, but to Eala's dedicated supporters. This was far more than a routine post-match courtesy or a simple show of sportsmanship. It was a world-class player acknowledging that this crowd has become a sovereign force, in the Women's Tennis Association ecosystem that demands its own recognition. The fans arriving in the Coachella Valley for the 2026 Indian Wells Open are the very same ones who received that personal apology from the fourth best player in the world. They are fully aware of their role and the power they hold to influence the game. The Indian Wells Tennis Garden, a massive facility spanning 54 acres with 29 courts and over 500,000 annual attendees, is about to witness this power firsthand. This legendary venue is on the verge of finding out exactly how that specific crowd can shift the entire atmosphere of a tournament. Tournament director Tommy Haas, a former world number 2 himself, has made it clear that the focus for 2026 is on elevating the experience for everyone involved. Haas has stated publicly that the BNP Paribas Open is committed to raising the bar for player experience and global inclusion. Haas has successfully navigated the event through pandemic cancellations and controversial wildcard decisions, all while working to expand the tournament's international identity. The decision to seat Alexandra Eala in the 2026 field aligns perfectly with that long-term mission of global expansion. Alongside established giants like Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek, the name Eala now holds a prominent place in the seeded draw of the 5th Grand Slam. Analysts have stopped questioning whether she belongs at this elite level. That conversation has been settled once and for all. The primary question now is what will happen during the Sunshine Double when she travels to Miami to defend 390 ranking points from her 2025 semifinal run. The shock and awe seen in California when Eala arrived was genuine, but the narrative was never strictly about the sport of tennis. It was the definitive moment a community realized that the player they championed the wildcard, ranked 140th just 12 months ago, had truly arrived. She stepped into the 5th Grand Slam as a seeded competitor with Nike hailing her as history, Coco Gauff apologizing to her fans, and retired legends calling her the biggest draw in the sport. And the most incredible part is that she has not even won the Indian Wells title yet. This leaves us with a question that no one in the Coachella Valley or the wider tennis world can answer at this moment. If Alex Eala is already generating this level of impact while ranked at number 31, what will this tournament look like on the day she finally breaks into the top 10?